Graham Nash, a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee as a member of both the Hollies and the legendary Crosby, Stills and Nash, has been making music for nearly 60 years. A prolific songwriter, he's produced a remarkable body of work. His partnership with Crosby, Stills and Young lasted only 20 months, yet some of the songs he wrote for the group, such as Marrakesh Express, Teach Your Children, and Our House, are embedded in the DNA of the 60s generation. Graham Nash continues to perform as a solo artist and is now getting ready to launch a full tour with a number of shows in the tri-state area, including a September 27th performance at the Town Hall Theater in New York City. It's a tour unlike any Nash has done before, and he was gracious enough to sit with me recently to talk about what will make it so unique. Graham, welcome back to the program. It's always great to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Graham, you are starting a new tour this fall where you are revisiting your first two solo albums, Songs for Beginners and Wild Tales.
Wild Tales, yes.
Which is also the name of your
book.
Yes. In their entirety.
Yes.
Have you done this before?
Never.
So why now?
I saw Steely Dan at the Beacon Theatre do a couple of their albums from start to finish, and I thought it was a really cool idea. And this has been suggested many times in my life, but particularly strongly my wife, Amy Grantham, wanted to see that show. Two of her favorite albums, and she wanted me to do that. And so I thought, yeah, you know, it is a really good idea. I think we'll start to do that. And so on the 25th of September, I start at South Orange Performing Arts Centre. It's a small club. I want to get the first one and work out the little funny stuff that will probably go on. On the 27th, I play the Town Hall here in Manhattan. 28th, I'll be in Albany at the Egg, and the 29th, I'll be at the Berkeley Community Center doing Songs for Beginners, take an intermission, and then do Wild Tales, start to finish.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think I'm actually looking very much forward to it.
So when you look back, I mean, these albums are almost 50 years old.
Not almost.
So when you look back to those albums, when you listen to those music, is there anything about the songwriting in them that surprises you?
Not that surprises me. The last record I put out, I realized there had never been a greatest hits, for want of a better word, of my music. Yes, greatest hits of the Hollies, greatest hits of CSN, greatest hits of CSNY, etc., but not my music. So, in my experience of being a solo artist for the last 3 or 4 years, I realized the 15 songs that my fans really love, and so I put them on. And then I thought, how you know, people have probably bought all this music in several formats, you know, from vinyl to CDs to DVDs to Blu-ray, etc. How can I make this special? So I went into my archive and I brought out 15 of the demos for those songs. When you enjoy music but you don't play music, the art of songwriting is quite mysterious to those people. They want to know, you know, what were you thinking when you wrote Our House? Where was your head at when you wrote Teach Your Children or Military Madness or Chicago? And in my show, I tell people exactly how those songs came to life. And it's very interesting for people that don't write music, you know, because they want to know, where does melodies come from? Where do lyrics come from? Come on, what's going on? How do you do that? I wish I knew.
Many of these songs, particularly from your first solo album, which happened right after you broke up with Joni Mitchell, are very personal. Some of the songs reflect that breakup.
Indeed.
How does it feel emotionally to go back to those songs, particularly when you're performing them every night? Is it painful in some way, or has time healed all wounds?
I think time wounds all heals, I think. I try to sing those songs with the same passion that I wrote them with. I want people to know two things. One, I want to be there making music for them. It's very important. The audience can spot immediately whether you want to be there or not, right? And secondly, if I can see them smiling on the way out, I know I've done my job, because they pay hard-earned money to come see me. I want to give them value for their money. And so it's a combination of the songs and the stories behind those songs that's quite fascinating to people.
How did your solo work depart from the work you've done previously with the Hollies and with Crosby, Stills, Nash and Crosby, Stills, Nash and
I've
Young?
never written, since I left the Hollies, I've never written a song for CSN or for CSNY. I've only written for me. We have what's called the reality rule with us. If I sit you down and you're David and you're Stephen, right? If I sit you down and play a song and there's no reaction, you'll never hear that song again. If I play a song and Crosby knows, hey, I know what I'm going to do in the chorus, or Stephen knows exactly what he's going to do as an intro, now we're talking. And we only ever recorded songs that all three of us love.
Well, your songs are not only personal. A number of your songs are political, because you're political.
But let's visit that a second.
Yeah.
When four kids stand at their college, their university, and protest what the government is doing in their name, particularly Nixon and Kissinger's secret bombing of Cambodia at the time at Kent State. Yeah. When they got slaughtered, is that personal or is that political? When you chain Bobby Seale to a chair and gaffers tape his mouth shut, is that political or is that human? We have to be very careful here, but I do understand what you mean.
The personal is political, as we learned in the 60s.
Indeed.
But one of those songs, which we were talking about before the cameras start rolling, Chicago, still gives me chills when I hear that.
Fantastic.
But I had misunderstood it for many years.
From what point of view?
In the sense, I thought that you were speaking to us, to the audience. You wanted us to get involved, but there's a story behind it. I wonder if you could share it with us.
I got a call one Sunday morning, very early in the morning, from a friend of mine called Wavy Gravy. Wavy Gravy was a comedian called Hugh Romney here in the Village in the 50s. He called me and he said that these 7 or 8 kids have been busted in Chicago for disrupting the Democratic National Convention, and could CSNY come to do a concert to raise money for their defense fund. I wanted to go, David wanted to go. Stephen and Neil, their time wasn't free because it happened very quickly. And so my song of Chicago is me singing to Stephen and Neil. Can't we just go to Chicago just to sing? But I'm also talking to you because that's the art of a songwriter.
So by the way, are you going to be playing songs beyond the songs in these 2 albums in this tour?
If I do what I'm doing, Song for Beginners first, Intermission, and then Wild Tales, the last song on Wild Tales is a very slow song called Another Sleep Song. And that's not the way to end a concert. So I know that I'm going to have to come back and do a couple of encores. I haven't quite figured out what they will be, but I have to do a couple of songs after that, yes.
So finally, what do you hope that audiences that go to these performances, they take away with them?
I hope they take away the fact that I wanted to be there. I want them to take away the fact that artists have to talk about the times in which we live. That's how musical history is made. You know, when Billie Holiday was doing Strange Fruit, she was talking about the time in which she lived. You know, and our songs are about the time in which we live. It's quite interesting and ironic to me that something like Immigration Man is still as relevant today as it was when I wrote it 50 years ago. Military Madness. There are more wars going on now than it was when I wrote that song, which I wrote about my father going off to World War II. So yes, I'm glad that my music lasted this long. Sometimes it's a pain in the butt to have to sing them.
Yeah. Well, Graham, as always, it's been an honor to talk to you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, Ralph. Thank you.